emphasize, dejected, outdated, metropolis, relocate, commendable, endanger, aristocrat, admiration, outskirts, legitimate, gross, contentment, sly, retrieve, respondent, overthrow, absurd, molecule, gender, flip, holy, fossil, stale, insight, compression, hostile, attorney, premeditated, manuscript, yearn, arctic, discharge, sweep, foil, wholesale, transmit, landmark, compartment, redundant, subordinate, contemporary, deem, dispirit, exploit, alleviate, inherent, fame, scribble, supplement, fragile, divorce, respectively, exert, inflict, complaint, gullible, industrialization, daring, rivalry, contrary, access, mammal, vigorous, serene, docile, concise, experienced, aptitude, assignment, confession, flock, equivalent, suspend, confirm, intentionally, anecdote, controversial, dutifully, subtract, legislation, ridicule, diploma, unveil, activist, reciprocate, overlook, consistency, mediate, postscript, adjacent, conditional, breach, chemical, huddle, assorted, devise, sufferer, strategy, outsider, harsh, drastic, immovable, retain, agenda, frail, indigenous, devour, ingenuity, drag, abuse, sue, overdue, foretell, attractive, initiate, illicit, proficient, anthropologist, anatomy, squat, outcast, lamely, defect, waiver, radiation, humble, improper, stationary, conspicuous, currency, fragrance, administer, biological, cordial, vessel, distinct, herald, activate, auditor, hectic, manufacture, consensus, immerse, recess, reproduce, potential, extinguish, spot, extravagant, persecution, forfeit, reinforce, exaggerate, ban, stem, envision, substandard, immune, escalate, priority, pompous, skeptical, coverage, physics, persistent, menace, embarrassment, nutritious, conquest, dispatch, investigation, diagnosis, hypertension, portfolio, console, fertility, herd, primarily, revive, consultation, cuisine, magnify, implosion, composure, utensil, reckon, addiction, forestry, ventilation, comprehensive, comprise, sequence, bountiful, eventually, apprentice, ethnicity, wither, pastime, forum, congregate, commemorate, impressive, venture, profound, discard, renowned, upstage, boom, commence, abruptly, confrontation, summon, regulation, accompany, enterprise, incriminate, successor, developer, feasible, humiliate, evict, creativity, hostage, utmost, intimidate, undertake, fitfully, twitch, representative, scholarship, requirement, interference, ballot, storage, altitude, diverge, mobilize, bulky, oppose, reference, pottery, criterion, pushover, amicable, overpower, surrounding, corrupt, cultivate, unconditional, personnel, tactical, mandatory, regularly, upstart, assault, negligence, hapless, surveillance, droop, illustrate, autograph, disgrace, hardy, emerge, distract, captivity, countless, breadth, inept, lethal, preserve, transportation, interact, reputation, dialect, vault, brutal, proximity, viable, credibility, extract, legalize, candidate, implicate, outcome, affiliate, premonition, sarcastic, bond, recession, avoidance, quota, approximately, prodigy, genetic, zeal, dangle, eloquent, tender, offspring, hinder, coordinate, maneuver, artifact, ominous, latitude, subsidy, stifle, delirious, memoir, fake, hierarchy, subscription, subjective, repay, negotiate, acid, resilient, remnant, compromise, mare, ensure, prediction, status, triumph, launch, hydrogen, custody, curb, weld, dispute, filthy, ceremonial, obesity, clutch, vulgar, decay, meditate, monopolize, consecutive, co-author, cherish, strenuous, theft, geometry, adorable, virtue, promotion, stubborn, unison, provoke, sentence, prevail, drought, prey, gleam, backtrack, spiral, avail, evacuate, hesitant, encounter, returnee, reluctant, baseline, binding, commit, extort, highlight, pursue, sector, profession, publicity, noble, exceed, accelerate, timidity, overlap, vomit, responsive, resident, convey, removal, expense, painstaking, downturn, nerve, outlive, decompose, demolish, skid, neutral, recruit, gravitational, tuition, syndrome, spectacular, indefinite, fumble, poll, validation, slavery, unearth, condolence, unauthorized, certify, expire, climatic, awareness, roughly, publication, decisive, first hand, compliance, recipient, resent, allowance, ancestor, update, stumble, appliance, disclose, token, monarch, enviable, counsel, stereotypical, cite, incentive, tranquil, thorough, disadvantaged, scarce, conflict, pawnbroker, definitely, bureau, deposit, measure, equality, classify, spacious, invasion, keen, duplicate, insistent, evolution, marital, abundant, hypocritical, remuneration, indebted, engage, irrational, applicable, obnoxious, relegate, vow, anonymity, disrupt, obvious, connotation, pilgrim, punctual, monitor, erosion, commute, transplant, transaction, temperament, sphere, displace, clarify, bid, divert, radical, broker, rainforest, luxury, firm, intercept, hereditary, powerhouse, cautious, solemn, stray, aggressive, salute, omit, paralyze, proportion, appropriate, arise, singular, discriminate, resurgence, drowsy, sophisticated, stout, endure, dilemma, tackle, lofty, drawback, belated, questionnaire, perilous, partial, exemplify, holdover, atmosphere, symptom, digestion, controversy, foster, inspire, scatter, peer, tangible, relentlessly, gratify, awkward, prompt, institution, trespass, indecisive, possession, outburst, sustain, susceptible, hypothetical, bewilder, bounce, dictate, moderate, discretion, outright, ironically, enchant, astronomer, occupancy, legible, adolescent, esteem, stroll, characteristic, indicate, rot, species, excel, shipment, mutual, decrepit, conscience, plantation, breakout, creditor, obedient, compulsory, significance, breakthrough, durable, absorb, circumstance, religious, formalize, sell, intermittent, withhold, jeopardy, dedicated, attendant, outrageous, synchronize, proponent, clause, outset, fracture, furthermost, profile, undermine, memento, instrumental, structure, illiterate, petty, adrift, taint, dubious, retail, suspicion, sanction, satellite, pensive, make up, commodity, assure, conserve, intervene, unification, edible, trader, constitution, familiarize, narrative, welfare, psychiatry, hail, discourage, intake, breed, thrive, shoplift, debt, dismal, flaw, admittedly, dismiss, infant, haunt, oversee, irritate, unexpected, prosecute, tumble, faulty, uniquely, discipline, segregate, slant, diverse, do, radioactive, relevant, provided, hardship, emigrate, explicit, bizarre, completion, explosion, plot, frenzy, degrade, surplus, incisive, incompatible, indecent, inscription, numerous, irresistible, ignorance, property, fabricate, circulation, prohibit, fusion, upcoming, standby, turbulence, retrace, boundary, evoke, deceptive, pacify, disorient, innovation, livelihood, yield, imprint, groundwater, depict, collaborate, accord, subject, application, notable, inhabitant, boost, finance, array, guideline, chancellor, cozy, administration, ruthlessly, spoil, portray, vaccine, subsequent, plunge, humane, devastate, passionate, flexible, applicant, incidentally, strain, component, moisture, superficial, intersection, literally, accreditation, yardstick, implement, depression, comparable, rigid, right, grim, intense, extraordinary, roam, unperturbed, discontent, concede, well-being, negate, knowledgeable, boundless, exile, tame, circuit, ultimately, overhaul, applaud, expertise, condemn, disprove, overall, solitude, stance, assess, cosmopolitan, witness, executive, prominent, lodge, shatter, certitude, gratitude, prescribe, lawsuit, alert, glimpse, anarchy, efficient, debris, antiquity, liberate, veil, barely, unsociable, pose, cater, fluently, gracious, watchful, bleak, mainstream, practitioner, enlist, opponent, materialism, regarding, graze, retreat, costly, affluent, crucial, assistance, formulate, particle, mellow, intensive, assemble, modernization, premature, scan, verbal, curious, barren, overplay, exotic, celebrity, justify, brilliant, crawl, federal, caption, vast, spontaneous, empathy, assumption, bait, exemption, protective, temper, associate, harmonious, remarkable, confederation, utility, alien, irrigation, eliminate, clash, obstacle, creep, tempt, transcription, intact, terrain, stern, vibrant, workplace, pledge, speculate, escort, imminent, massive, condiment, halt, combat, neurological, discord, existence, embrace, habitat, reminder, revenue, scrutinize, contaminate, precede, deploy, falsify, dimension, artificial, seclusion, grant, medieval, debase, acquaint, blaze, fulfill, allocate, secure, batter, precarious, bashful, censorship, dismantle, refund, modify, excessive, county, lodging, workforce, annoyance, sincerity, obtainable, fright, nominate, curable, fragment, leftover, cynical, consent, endorse, marshal, fierce, doom, questionable, grumble, seize, behavioral, shriek, toxic, dissolve, cosmological, alliance, simulate, irate, eternity, CEO, eject, corporation, revoke, shortcoming, exposure, endow, ignition, innermost, commercial, tariff, impersonate, correspondence, dormant, slaughter, mischievous, replicate, mumble, abortion, obligation, infrastructure, closure, browse, legacy, predecessor, fatal, installment, reliable, likelihood, adjoining, employment, deficit, counterfeit, assimilate, flicker, withdraw, fund, versatile, toll, outgoing, disorder, nudge, transform, compassion, hilarious, dissent, conversant, voluntarily, arc, trait, bystander, alimony, segment, mourning, bankrupt, adverse, arrogant, authentic, violate, aquatic, foe, random, verse, withstand, cognitive, evaporate, acoustic, lunar, ecosystem, ease, upturn, relief, chronological, capsize, reconcile, invest, ingredient, trek, heed, authorize, petition, deserve, blissfully, nomadic, selective, swell, capture, centralize, deliberate, errand, vicinity, contend, calamity, register, facility, disabled, emission, break up, conceal, expel, migrate, adapt, modest, imply, leverage, dioxide, hybrid, hospitalization, advocate, portion, motive, reconstruct, spark, betray, skim, additive, trial, horrify, brisk, chronic, customary, desist, output, reduction, bravery, monotonously, freight, maritime, analogy, receptive, dehydration, epidemic, warrant, loyalty, alternative, crisis, inventory, boast, precise, spell, infamous, perpetual, reassure, counter, ritual, riddle, complicate, inevitable, conclusive, precaution, cue, sight, alter, minimum, inheritance, feast, heritage, forego, offensive, colonization, immediate, indispensable, mythology, parallel, crave, uproar, resume, agricultural, capability, erect, ambiguous, soothing, remedy, squeeze, conform, domestic, downfall, scrap, inject, enclosure, formidable, ethics, redeem, consume, impair, faith, preference, generosity, perspective, quote, confiscate, contagious, clue, illogical, considerate, enrage, routine, enroll, blunder, detention, stoop, uproot, exclusive, capital, dump, virus, verify, substitute, flourish, tactfully, mercy, biographical, detachment, furnish, impassive, setback, outermost, spacecraft, identify, flare, readership, dread, overly, ceaseless, noticeable, contradict, occupation, plausible, enforce, lenient, bribe, permanently, detour, detect, grave, outstanding, disgust, fortune, confident, confound, objective, dilution, prototype, autobiography, operational, overwhelm, hospitality, mimic, disposal, invaluable, cooperative, rebel, testimony, vegetation, witless, weary, deforestation, illegal, catastrophe, accommodate, restore, debit, exception, architect, undergo, penetrate, swap, trigger, fatigue, barn, insurance, ransom, build up, deport, novel, distinguished, extensive, dislocate, corrosion, loiter, decent, beam, hub, disengage, irreversible, constraint, abolish, uphold, delete, consequence, sacrifice, cram, relatively, competence, hunch, integrate, perception, disperse, argument, utterance, sensitive, amenity, overtake, sneak, diplomat, riot, infusion, outbreak, instruction, complex, apprehension, archive, procedure, tour, sequel, elaborate, evasive, excerpt, typify, minimal, conceivable, virtually, refugee, issue, scramble, distort, companion, draft, psychology, provisional, burnout, vivid, superfluous, enormous, revelation, resort, beneficial, agitate, foresight, pious, trace, fluid, sewage, sufficient, charitable, deranged, orbit, vulnerable, coarse, livestock, resist, extremity, fanatically, indifferent, equivocal, adequate, limitation, litter, infect, deflect, infringe, burst, compensation, preside, statistics, analyze, submissive, era, scope, considerable, terminate, collective, pathetic, dismay, coherent, subtle, devout, harass, friction, unwittingly, fixated, smuggle, underdressed, wry, vital, warehouse, intelligent, clumsy, treaty, plagiarism, resign, influential, bully, clinical, retaliation, anthem, obscure, contribution, demonstrate, mediocre, decline, famine, valuation, forthcoming, uncovered, facilitate, underestimate, session, checkup, gap, criticism, slack, shudder, define, organism, prosper, perplexing, rebound, ration, settlement, subsist, courteous, storm, bargain, temporary, variable, well-off, threat, contract, fraud, mingle, hamper, elude, lapse, asset, nonetheless, productivity, widespread, synthetic, coincidence, eruption, articulate, entangle, incident, counterpart, attentive, minor, spotless, milestone, workout, exhale, outweigh, devoted, participation, corridor, sturdy, hasty, revolt, recognition, shift, experimental, worsen, amplify, technically, submission, deduction, pamper, surpass, confidential, trivial, downplay, specific, transparent, diminish, expand, unanimous, discredit, disguise, despise, linger, context, offset, hazard, exterminate, plight, literacy, patent, horizontal, reasonable, gloomy, blow, swarm, peculiar, intrude, evaluate, plead, colonize, edge, initial, grind, adhesive, sensation, tedious, depot, deceitful, scant, prestige, opportune, address, designate, tribute, sprain, manipulate, multinational, spectator, pinch, coalition, tip, option, restrain, wine, physician, adjust, curator, immigrant, sanitation, inmate, lament, supervise, brand, ongoing, inception, populous, fictitious, outsource, expenditure, renew, extinction, acknowledge, merge, naive, desperate, enliven, dignity, underfed, guarantee, enhance, sluggish, amend, obstruct, competitive, abandon, privilege, stack, furry, lesson, archaeologist, imposition, backbone, dependency, resume, voucher, allege, prerequisite, genuine, complement, wreck, defensive, oppress, inquiry, debatable, preclude, defer, startle, affirmation, stable, compile, initiative, wealth, confine, capacity, superpower, dweller, nominally, contrast, skull, tense, bearable, incredible, therapy, audible, colleague, enact, remittance, dominate, tolerable, operative, script, renovation, obsolete, spite, barbarian, conversion, perspire, upbringing, retailer, snatch, rigorous, venue, undeniable, sparsely, compound, nauseous, numb, substantial, crude, referral, intuitively, complacent, botanical, dedication, disregard, vocational, slash, concession, majestic, populate, congestion, scheme, showdown, convene, traumatic, preliminary, demote, acceptance, abstract, budget, valid, shallow, acute, grasp, distress, refinement, telescope, collision, straightforward, discomfort, accumulate, itinerary, sideshow, category, nuisance, age, donate, shrink, sublime, stimulate, frantic, conviction, interaction, presumably, advanced, generate, province,